that day. But when you get to wake up every day and not want to be anyone except for who you really are, that's incredible. That's
absolutely
incredible. So that's I get to wake up every day and nerd out on genetics and biochemical pathways, and I freaking love it. So I can't imagine myself not doing this, to be honest.
Well, honestly, we need more nerds like you in the world to help us become better people, to achieve better health and wellness and greatness, honestly, because let me share with you a little bit of why I'm passionate, and then we'll get into a few questions, because the call that we had on Thursday was amazing, and I know people had questions. So we want to address some of those things to go a little more in detail about it. But for me, I'm super passionate because my father passed away of congestional heart failure. Never smoked, never drank, never did drugs. He was on point, ate well, exercised, but because of a certain variant or various variants that he inherited from his parents, he passed away after 5 heart attacks. And it's nothing that he did. It was the cards he was dealt, but he knew and did research, and it was knowing that if he just ate the right things, he can actually shift and change and letting his body heal itself, which is not wrong, but he just didn't know what he needed. So we're empowering people with the knowledge with a wellness report, and then we're giving them a solution and giving them the ability to shift and offboard some of those things. If you'd be open to that, would you share a little bit of why we're introducing this type of product to the market today and the benefits of really what nutrition is actually providing for the masses today?
Oh, of course, because it's like I've always said, we can hear from our doctor, hear from our friends, hear from whomever that certain vitamins and minerals are good for us, right? So taking magnesium can help you sleep and help your muscles not twitch and not have leg cramps. And if you take zinc, it'll help your immune system. And if you take vitamin C and D, it'll do the same. Taking vitamin A will help your eyes, E will help your skin. We know these things, but we don't know how much, right? We don't know the form. We don't know what's going to be best for our bodies individually and on an individual basis. I didn't know that for the longest time. And I don't think anybody does. And how could we? The Human Genome Project opened up this huge realm for us nerds who love genetics, right? It gave us the understanding that, wait a minute, there is a particular link. Obviously, we know to genetics and disease, but what about genetics and health? Whoever thought about combining those two? Yeah, we know we're predisposed to different things. Just to piggyback on Kyle's, my mom is 60 years old and started having early signs of dementia in her 50s. Her 50s. This is a personal trainer, a woman who has been healthy the majority of her life, who has exercised and eaten healthy foods. I remember as growing up as a kid, man, to have any kind of sugar or sweets or anything in the house, boy, we'd have to turn up my volume. Sorry, I might have to scream, guys. I'm sorry. But to be able to have sweets in the house, we would have to sneak them in, which my kids have probably done as well. But because my mom was really healthy the majority of her life, but yet here she is still suffering from dementia in her 50s. And I went, absolutely not. I don't want that to happen to me. How do I prevent that? Can I prevent that? And so that kind of started a little bit of my genetic journey as well as other things. And I realized, what? We can never be 100% of the time, right? We just can't. And we shouldn't. We should indulge. We should enjoy, right? We definitely should. But if we understand where our genetic predispositions and weaknesses are, we can support them. And this is what we're here doing, right? We're understanding, we're acknowledging, we're giving power back in our hands to say, hey, that's okay. I'm going to use this as a tool. I'm going to now recognize that there are some weaknesses. We all have them, and now I can come in and support them. Nutrigenetics is getting bigger and bigger. Whenever I go to A4M, IFM, any of those medical conventions, and either speak or just am there to learn, because like I said, your doctor should never stop learning, genetics is brought up constantly. But you know what the problem is? They're talking about a SNP, a SNP, a SNP, a SNP. Do you see how here with Euphoria, we're pulling together quite a few of them. We have 18 currently, but we have quite a bit more we've obviously recognized and have in our database and system. But we're looking more at a language. we're looking at sequencing. We're understanding that there's more than just this one SNP. We're looking at many SNPs. And that's why we find it important to put together this, it's a start, of course, this comprehensive health panel to be able to look at these different biochemical pathways and these different possible predispositions so we can help the body on many different levels, not just one. And that's what I find to be important, because SNPs are words. Your sequencing or looking at multiple of them is your language. It's your story. It tells us who you are. It's the recipe of you, right? It doesn't get any more elegant and beautiful than that. So if we can take all these different SNPs, show you your story, and then support it, oh man, we're crazy not to do that, right? So it's going to get bigger and bigger and better. Same with PGX. I think everybody should have pharmacogenetic testing to understand, heaven forbid you do ever have to have a surgical procedure or do have to go on medication. It does happen, right? You know what your body's going to be most receptive to. So I see nutrigenetics, I see PGX testing, I see that being the future of health and wellness, absolutely, without a doubt. And if it's not, guess what? You guys are here making it that. So that's even more beautiful. So I think that we're going to start to hear it. We already are. We're going to start to see it. You're already in it, right? Look where you guys are. How cool is that? You're in the beginning of something that nobody's ever done before. I blew my mind when I heard about what we were doing here. I was like a little kid in a candy store. I mean, you should have seen me. I was practically hyperventilating with excitement to hear what we got to do here and the level that we're doing it at. Nobody else, I'm telling you right now, I have looked at other companies through and through. I've done all of my research. Nobody is doing it on the same level that we are.
I think that's big because it's truly a paradigm shift. It's an evolution of how we view wellness overall, right? And I kind of view it to different things that we've experienced through our lifetimes. Like I look at, we're doing for nutrition and wellness what cell phones do to home phones. You know what different industries have evolved from, right? And we have that opportunity to be positioned to benefit from that and really support people in their growth and understanding of how they can live a happier and better life, honestly. Because if you deal with your health and you give exactly what your body needs, that is massive. So we talk about, these are plant-based peer-reviewed ingredients, right? Superfoods and all these other things. And they're pairing these with these SNPs that are coming, these single nucleotide polymorphisms. It took me like 4 weeks to learn that word. But if you can give a quick little snip about what SNPs are, a little tidbit, what is a SNP and why they're important to address, and then these plant-based peer-reviewed ingredients that they're addressing to identify how to offward some of these negative effects that we've inherited, how are those congruent and why are we going this route versus something else?
Well, because there is no other way, in my opinion. There really isn't. This is what I do in my practice. This is what I research. This is what I study. There is no other way.
I really would. Donald.
Oh, somebody sounds upset. These single polymorphisms, right? And I said on Saturday night, if you weren't there, are these individual pieces or ingredients that make us right? I know
I'm on mute.
You should be muted.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I had to unmute myself. Sorry. Can you guys hear me better now? I feel like I'm really close. You can see.
No, it's perfect. We hear you absolutely clearly.
Okay, so these SNPs, as you were asking about, or the single nucleotide polymorphisms, actually, we of course inherit from our parents, right? And a lot of them are just defining who we are, what we look like, how our build is, a little bit of our personality, things like that, right? So, and other ones are actionable in the sense that they show us how our biochemistry works. If you were there Thursday night, you saw that I showed that methylation process, those 7 steps that it takes to get from dietary folic acid down to 5-methotetrahydrofolate, which is what is used by the body, what actually gets into the cell to create cellular energy to start over 250 biochemical processes. One SNP, that's SNP. That's incredible. So to understand how these things work, how these SNPs work, right? So they can turn themselves on and off. And I don't want to get too deep into this, guys, but genes are there. They're never going to change. We never have to re-swab ourselves again. Okay, so they are there. They're who we are. They show how we work, or where our crack is in our foundation, as I like to say, and our little flaws that we have, right? We're all perfectly flawed. That's how it is. And so understanding that lets someone like myself say, okay, now I can navigate through this person's body without the guesswork. I don't have to guess how somebody's going to take this particular thing that I'm going to give them, how their body's going to break it down, utilize it, absorb it, and create cellular energy and create all these processes that they need to do on a daily basis. I can navigate that through their with not only how they talk to me, what they tell me, but also with their genetics and their blood work, and put it all together, which is incredible. So the piece that we're able to give to you at Euphoria is say, okay, obviously we still want you to follow up with a healthcare provider. Obviously we still want you to eat well. We still want you to sleep like you're supposed to. We still want you to have positive, happy mindset. Surround yourself with people that motivate you and make you feel good. You know, all the other things that are attributing to genetics being turned on, the bad ones. Emotional trauma can turn on a bad SNP. Absolutely, it can. We all have emotional trauma. We all have the baggage, right? I don't think anybody can escape that. And if you've been able to escape that your entire life, rock on, because that's pretty hard to do. But having the understanding of how this works, now we can then go on and say, okay, we look at these, it's biochemistry. We look at these biochemical pathways, we trace them, and we understand what actually supports that. The body makes a lot of the things that we have to give you, right? But a lot of it doesn't, because it has to go from this inactive to this active. So the body has to understand how to be able to convert this on its own. It's we're amazing self-healing mechanisms. Our bodies do incredible things to be able to take something that we don't know what to do with or how to absorb and convert it. So that way we do know how to absorb and use it and create all this energy to do everything that we do is miraculous. It's incredible. The human body is beautiful. This just allows us to see where you might not have the ability to do that as strong as somebody else, whether it's at a 50% because you only got a copy from one parent, or 100%, or even closer to 100% because you got a copy from both parents. So certain biochemical pathways we have to support, like methylation. We absolutely have to support methylation. People think if they're happy and they live a good lifestyle and they eat the way that they're supposed to, and they take all these folate rich or folic acid rich foods, that they're going to be just fine. And that's not the case. So those aren't, if you remember those steps, those aren't the active forms or the active ways that our body absorbs and uses it. It still has to go through the process. So if we don't have the ability to do that, we have to trick the system, essentially. It's like tricking our kids, you know, and putting something on their plate that we think, you know, oh, they're not going to know what this is. And you know, try to trick them. I do that all the time. Sorry, my children are probably going to come busted in here. What do you mean?
Close your ears.
Girls, you put the unhealthy mac and cheese box on the counter, but actually you made it yourself with gluten-free noodles and, you know, dairy-free cheese or whatever I have to do, right? So, but we're tricking the system, essentially, is what we're doing. So we're able now to go in and understand, here's the weakness, let's trick the system. And that's okay. It's okay to trick the system, to be able to have it do what we want to do. So I think that we're going to start, you know, you guys know I like to diverse a little bit, but we're going to start to see this more mainstream. If we haven't already, there's a lot of people that understand that there's a better way. People are sick. People are tired of being sick. People are tired of taking medications. They're tired of taking medications that don't work for them, or that work for them but cause another side effect, so they have to take something else to counteract that. They're not getting any better. Once they stop taking their medication, they're back to being sick again. So they want to be healthy. This is a start to that, right? It implements a healthy lifestyle. It makes them understand and become more aware of how their body works and functions. To me, that's huge. Awareness is huge. When we understand that we do have some of these weaknesses, we start taking something to support it, and we go, hey, you know what? I am sleeping a little bit better. And that's what I want to see. sustainable things, right? We're not going to change overnight and be a new person. If a patient comes in to me after a week and says, I'm a new person, I'm like, oh, well, crap, that's not going to last, because their body's going to find its new norm. And then they're going to think it's not working anymore. And that's not the case. We want sustainable results, right? You know what? I notice I don't have to take a 2 o'clock nap anymore. I notice I feel a little bit more refreshed when I wake up. Like, okay, I think I have a little more energy throughout the day. And with my exercising, I don't fatigue really. That's the stuff we want to start seeing. And that's the stuff over time, as our body and our biochemistry starts to go, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. That's when we start to see miraculous results. And that's when we start to feel better. For me to be able to go 24/7 the way that I do, if I had never discovered genetics, noticed my weaknesses, and came in and started supporting them, I don't think I'd be able to do this. And that's pretty sad, because I like doing this.
Absolutely. I mean, this is what I've been learning over this time, is if you give your body the right raw materials, it really will start to operate optimally. Yet it'll actually do the things it needs to do and heal itself, because we are amazing human beings that our bodies will start functioning properly if you give it the right raw materials. But can you explain just real briefly about methylation? I know that word has come up a few times, just a brief little synapse of what that is and why it's so important.
Oh, it's super important, right? So methylation, like I said on Thursday night, is our gasoline. It's what puts energy into the cell. It prefaces things like our RNA and our DNA and our immune system, growth hormone for children as well. That's why it's kind of, we want to start being able to test our kids, right? So we have all that available. We just have to get it in the works. So but it prefaces all these different things, our mitochondria, which is our powerhouse, right? So if we don't have this cellular energy to begin with, let's say we go through this methylation process and we have both MTHFRs, right? Let's say you have them both at a red. You have 2 reds on your MTHFRs. Do you realize that you have a 70% decrease in efficacy on how you can get cellular energy? So when I talk to people about that, I'm like, think about running on less than a half a tank of gas every single day. Every single day. Some days you do quite well and you can actually make it through. Most days, though, you fall and kind of feel like, gosh, it's 2, 3, 4, whatever time that is, and I'm exhausted. That's the way most people work. And that's because their methylation process does not work as well as it should. There's probably other cofactors involved, absolutely. But methylation is what puts energy into the cell so we can start doing all those different processes. In fact, like I said, it's over 250 biochemical processes. So that's kind of a big deal. So we want to make sure that we can take these unmethylated B vitamins, right? So like folic acid and cyanocobalamin and all these different types of B vitamins that aren't absorbed and put into the cell like they're supposed to, and want to give them methylated form like methylcobalamin and the quatropolic or the 5-methytetrahydrofolate. Make sure we give these properly in the proper amount and in the proper form, so our body knows, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do with this. Okay, I don't have to convert it because I don't really know how to do that. So thank you for giving me what I need. Like I said, Euphoria gives your body a voice. It understands what your body needs. These genetic tests, I'm not saying just Euphoria, there's lots of companies out there, but then we come in and say, we're going to take it one step further and give you the solution as well. So methylation is your gasoline, your cellular energy. I just told you how to build the watch when you told me what time it was, in case you were wondering. I'm good at that.
That is amazing. I love it. Now, I think a lot of people, I've had friends that say, look, I just take blood tests. And I just, I want to take a blood test versus a DNA test because it's quote unquote more accurate, so on and so forth. So can you address that, the difference between a blood test and a DNA test and how they function differently?
Thank goodness you said that and brought that up, right? So think about a vitamin B12 test. Let's go with that. So we go with a B12 test, and their B12 level is low. Well, we understand. Oh, I don't take vitamin B12, so we understand the body needs B12, right? So what do? You take B12. So let's say somebody decides, I'm going to go take cyanocobalamin, or you go to your regular doctor and they give you the injections. Well, cyanocobalamin is cheap and it's easy, so that's usually what they get. So you get these injections, or you're taking it, sublingually, or whatever you're doing on a daily basis. You get your blood checked again, and the level's high in your blood work. And doctor goes, oh, wait, you're taking too much. Let's back you off. No, what's happening is it's in the bloodstream. It's not in the cell where it belongs. If you take the right form and the right amount, your B12 level will stay normal on your blood work because you're not getting excess into the blood. You're getting what you need into the cell and your body's using it appropriately. So when somebody has high B12 levels and they're taking, B12 shots and doing, or like I tell some patients, they take their nutrition and they go right to the lab and they have their blood work done. Sometimes the body's doing what it's supposed to do. So it is going to show a little bit high in the bloodstream at the time. So sometimes you have to do what we call fast and not take your vitamins and see where your levels are at. So just because it shows that it's high in your bloodstream, it doesn't mean that you're taking too much. Okay, so remember that. Vitamin D is a little bit different. If it's a little bit high, either you just took it, so it's in your bloodstream and it's showing high, or you are taking too much in that sense, which we usually don't see unless somebody takes a whole bunch. I think one guy was taking 50,000 IUs a day, which is a lot, and that's when it was high in his blood. So just because your blood shows, that's a snapshot, like I was saying on Thursday, that doesn't show your blueprint. That doesn't show how you metabolize it. It just shows what's in your bloodstream at that exact moment, that exact time of day. That's what it shows. And it doesn't show how it's absorbed or even if it's absorbed. Well,
That's so powerful. It's so important to understand the difference, that our blueprint, what we're born with and what we can address and deal with, and then giving the solution to that is massive. So I love that. Thank you so much. If you look at a lot of people, I think that they can just take a vitamin, right? I'm just going to take the multivitamin and I'm fine. Like, what's the difference between taking a multivitamin and something that's truly customized to you and your DNA? I mean, just show us a little bit of difference of that.
So a multivitamin, they put a whole bunch of different things in there, and a lot of times to make it not super expensive, right? So they'll put a little bit, and they never usually go to 100% RDA. Some of them they do. On some of them, you see that it's 100 or even over 100% RDA. But a lot of times it's under that, right? Because they're in hopes that your body's going to be able to absorb these things. So taking a big multivitamin where you've got all your vitamins and minerals, you have to watch. Are they methylated? Are they the right form? Are you taking one with CoQ10 in it or ubiquinone and you need ubiquinol or vice versa? I actually pull all my patients off multivitamins. Stop taking your multivitamin. Most of the time you have expensive urine with that, unfortunately, and you don't absorb it the way that you're supposed to. So this is actually letting us be a little bit more exact and a little bit more precise based on what your body needs and being able to balance the dosage and the amount as well. So that to me is pretty darn powerful. And it's not just you're taking the same thing as everybody. Why should you take the same thing as everybody? Your Kyle's not going to be the same as me in metabolizing and detoxing and absorbing and utilizing these different vitamins and minerals. He needs to take them differently than I do. Same with Jenny. I'm looking at names. Same with Polly. Everybody needs to take them differently, and that's okay. That's actually amazing. So we don't have to sit there and go, okay, we're all taking the same thing. It's going to work for a couple people, but it's not going to work for everybody. So why be like everyone else when you can be like you and take what you need? To me, that's more powerful, right?
It's a common sense concept, really. I mean, just having something that's customized to you, tailored to you and your body, because we're all different. We all have different ailments. We all have different, susceptibility to things. We're all predisposed to different things. So why are we taking the same stuff? It just does not make sense. And when I came to that revelation or understanding, my life changed. Like, I will never be on anything else or try anything else because I know this is truly customized to me, exactly what my body needs. Now, I think some people sometimes on occasion, because they want to grow a family, they want to grow a life, and they're a little concerned. Hey, look, are these things, is there any type of chemicals or any types of things included in this that I need to be worried about? And then would those types of things, the things that are there, if you're pregnant, like would you be concerned about taking this product if you're pregnant? Maybe address those two things real quick.
Yes, so this is delicate, of course, as we know. I always tell people who are, have I put pregnant women? Yes, I have. Do I address DNA when they're pregnant? Absolutely. Holy crap. That's one of the best times to do it, right? They're supporting fetal development. So that's huge that mom gets what she needs because she's going to have to then feed this growing little fetus inside of her and make sure that it gets everything it needs on top of it. However, I do tell people who are not my patients within Euphoria, please consult your obstetrician. Make sure that they see what you're taking and that, will they all understand it? Oh, maybe not. And I'm sorry about that, but it still should be looked at. We've had a lot of women within the Euphoria program that went through their pregnancy and took nutrition. And I heard some great things. I heard one of them say that it was the easiest delivery she's ever had. Her recovery was great. And she felt more energetic afterwards because, well, here's the thing, you have a baby, you exert a lot of energy, of course, right? Even if it's a C-section, that's a trauma, that's still exerting a lot of energy, no matter how that is. You lose a lot of blood both ways. There's a lot that happens to mom, and they send you home, and here you are depleted and exhausted, and your body has just been through some trauma, and now you're expected to be 24/7 on with this adorable little child who needs you. And then if you're nursing, I mean, oh my gosh. So this has been great for a lot of pregnant women and nursing moms as well. However, I do recommend that you still speak with your obstetrician and make sure that they understand at least what you're taking.
I love that. Now, some people have some type of allergies or they're susceptible to certain things. How do those types of things? Because I think a lot of times people are like, well, can you take this test tell you exactly what you're susceptible to, or if you have allergies, or what, if you have some type of disease or predisposed to certain diseases? May want to address that in that perspective where, am I going to be shown what I have, what I'm predisposed to in regards to maybe some diseases and or allergies?
So no, it's not going to show. There are genes that show different allergies as well. We can see if there's a lactose problem, if there's a gluten problem. We can see those things, yes, with certain SNPs. However, what this shows me and what I tell people is I'm going to pretty much kind of treat you the same, because I'm going to look at your inflammatory and your immune SNPs, right? So your IL-6, your CRP, and your TNF alpha. I'm going to look at those, and a person who has yellow and red in 1, 2, or even 3 of those is going to be more prone to different allergic type of reactions in the body, right? Because they have this aggressive immune and inflammatory response. So like I was saying on Thursday night, those are the people that get a bug bite, and instead of it just being a little bug bite and going away, it blows up into something huge. That's exactly what happens to the inside of their bodies when they eat something that their body's either one, allergic or intolerant to. So it's not going to make them feel very good, right? So it's not going to show me exactly if you're allergic to peanuts or if you're allergic to gluten, but it's going to give me an idea that, hey, I'm going to start asking you those questions, and maybe you as a person with Euphoria can say, is there something, I do have a lot of reds and yellows here. Is there something that I notice that bothers me or that I'm intolerant to? What this product is going to do is help restore a healthy immune and inflammatory response and not an aggressive one. It's not going to get rid of allergies per se, but it might teach our bodies to react a little bit differently. I'm not saying that if you've been allergic to peanuts, if you take this product, go eat a peanut, please, Lord, don't do that. Make sure you still get testing and follow-ups done with that as well. But what it's going to do is help the body create more of a healthy immune response and inflammatory response, and not an aggressive one, which is what happens during the reaction.
I think that's big in regards to the assimilation of each product, because I know there's 18 SNPs that we address, the big heavy hitters that we want to deal with are health and wellness. And then we pair those with about 100 plant-based peer-reviewed ingredients, about 400 million possible combinations. That is massive. Never been done before. It's game-changing on so many different levels. Now, I think some people have experienced that, and everyone's different. Every body's different. So everyone's ailments will be something different that needs to be addressed. So everyone's experience will be different, which I love, because if you take this is what's going to happen. And that's not always truly the case, because everyone is different. Now, some people that are taking their nutrition currently, some take it in the afternoon, some take it in the evening. Some people actually have a better sleep, like I do. I have great energy throughout the day. I get better sleep at night, right? Some people actually take it and then they're not sleeping because they're energized. What are your thoughts in regards to the amount of taking certain things in regards to the clinical doses that we're receiving currently?
Great. So just make sure that that's the awareness awareness factor, right? That I always tell patients, like when you become aware of how your body feels when it's exposed to different things, and that is even vitamins and minerals, that's powerful. So if you notice that, you know what, I can take all 10 of these in the morning and I am just fine. I don't have any nausea. It doesn't upset my stomach. Some people have to take them in smaller amounts because they hypermethylate things, right? So, and that's okay. We're giving the body what it needs, but you might have to take it in a smaller amount. Completely normal that that's the case. You're going to notice there's what we call hypomethylators, which people that takes them a long time to go through a specific, like they can take, 8 Advil and be fine. I pop one and I'm out for like 24 hours. So everybody's different. So it's the same sense in that. I'm not going to go pop 8 Advil and think that I'm going to be okay, because I'm not. So if you have to take 5 and 5, if you have to take 3, you know what I mean? However you have to take it for you, that's the awareness factor that I love. And that puts power in your hands to understand how your body feels best when you take your certain amounts of nutrition throughout the day, whether it's at one time or you have to split it up.
That is phenomenal information. And we thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. Did you want to add, because I know you're in this space, this is what you do, this is your passion, this is your expertise, and we love having you on here. And we want to thank you so much for taking the time. Anything you want to add on to in regards to important factors of why this product, why now, and why everybody should really be participating and benefiting from this from an overall, macro perspective? Because for me, if I can help somebody live a better life and give them the health that they deserve and need, that we're changing people's lives. We're giving them possibility to achieve better things in their life without having to go. Because I know we either pay for sickness later or we pay for wellness today. To mitigate those risks by taking things today that can offset some of those negative effects. Anything you want to add on to that, to talk about just overall wellness and how important it is to address it right on?
Oh man, I mean, it's, of course, as you said, it seems so common sense, like, right? It seems like, well, why wouldn't I want to take what my body needs in the right amount, in the right form, at the right time for me? Why wouldn't I want to do that? Well, to put it, I'm going to read something that I ended up, and I sent it to Kyle, and I wanted, I kind of wanted to read this. To me, this kind of sums it up a little bit. And you're welcome, guys. I see what you're saying in the chats, and I'm sorry if I didn't get to your questions, because there are so many of them. You guys know that I adore you all, and I adore being here, and I love to hear your stories. It's one of my favorite things. Whenever we have events, I lose like 5 pounds. I don't sleep. I lose my voice when I come home, because all I want to do is stand there and listen to your stories and talk to you all. So I tend to kill myself sometimes in that process. Got to take care of yourself too, right? So something I wrote that was, I think through PBS, is they published it during this whole pandemic, and talking about the importance of customized DNA supplementation on the immune system. And I'm sorry if I have to read, it's been a while, so I'm going to go ahead and read it off to you. So customized DNA nutrition can help support and restore a healthy immune and inflammatory response. We have genes that turn on the innate immune system and genes that turn it off. Understanding what that elegant process looks like for each individual allows for better support on a biochemical and intracellular level. If they have an aggressive immune response, we have that understanding and can respond accordingly to these possible exogenous threats, such as virus, bacteria, trauma, etc. We can eliminate the guesswork out of the complex biochemical pathways, allowing for healthy immune and inflammatory response with the proper nutrients per individual need. This is evidence-based, highly researched approach to our overall health and wellness. To me, that sums it up pretty much, why we do this, why I do this. I said there's 3 favorite words that I like: enhancing recovery potential. We're enhancing how your body recovers from all the different things that it's exposed to on a daily basis. We can't help with this pandemic going on if we're going to be exposed to this virus, but damn it, we can help how our body's going to respond to that by making sure that we're doing everything in our power, exercising, eating right, hydrating with half of our weight in ounces of water every day, sleeping appropriately, having healthy relationships. It's a stressful time, I get it. finding those stress relievers, going out for a walk as much as you can, taking the proper nutrients for your body to help restore that healthy immune and inflammatory response, to help your body detox from all these exogenous threats. All you're doing is a portion by taking this, and another piece to the puzzle of helping support your overall health and wellness. That's what you're doing to be able to enhance your recovery potential. That's huge. So it is a piece of that. There is a lot of other parts that come involved in it, but man, it's a darn good piece. You don't have to guess. You don't have to wonder if what you're taking is what your body needs, because we're telling you that because your body told us that, because we got to do the research. We got to investigate the SNPs. We were able to look into the biochemical pathways and understand them, because that's what we love to do, the people who were involved on the science team and who are behind this. So we love doing our job. Let us do our job. We think it's the best thing in the world. I eat, sleep, and live for this. This is not just my passion. This is my obsession. This is what I was here. This is why I was here. This is why I was brought here, is to do these things. Because I understand that I feel better now than I've ever felt in my entire life. Did it take time to get here? Absolutely it did. Am I scared if I ever contract this virus that I'm gonna get sick and die? You know what, I'm not. Because I'm doing everything in my power to take as best care as I can. Obviously, we want to make sure that everybody still stays safe and healthy, of course. I might sound a little cocky when I talk about my health and wellness. Do I still get sick? Yeah, I do every once in a while, absolutely. But it's very minimal and I get over it quick. That's what we want. We want to enhance your recovery potential. So just remember those 3 words, if anything, guys. Just remember that you're just taking another little piece every single day of being able to enhance your recovery potential and support your overall health and wellness. That's the best message I can leave for you guys.
Building our building blocks of our health is really what we're doing. This is your purpose, your passion. This is what you live for. And we're so grateful for your knowledge and your willingness to share your knowledge with us. And you've been such a blessing to everyone.